All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. What each quarterback needs to do to win the starting quarterback job for the 49ers. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, two locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Well, the Niner quarterbacks this week have all played pretty well in practice. Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, Sam Darnold. I'll leave out Brandon Allen just because I really see this as a three-horse race now between Purdy, Lance, and Darnold for the starting quarterback job of the 49ers here in 2023. Now, we're going to go through all three quarterbacks and what they need to do to win the starting job and what, if they are unable to do what they need to do, how it's going to work out. So let's start with Sam Darnold. We'll start with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, more than anything, Sam Darnold has had some really good practices where he's thrown some outstanding balls. He looks really good. I mean, you can be anti-Sam Darnold all you want. Sam Darnold on the practice field is looking really, really good. But history tells us that Sam Darnold turns the ball over too much and doesn't complete a high enough percentage of his passes. He's been in the NFL for 5 seasons. He's never completed even 62% of his passes in 5 NFL seasons. In most of those years, he's completing under 60% of his passes. That's okay in the 1960s, but now in 2023, you got to be closer to 65, 70% to really be a high completion percentage quarterback. He's only had 1 season where he's completed in the 60s, I believe. Almost every other season in the NFL of the 5, he's completed under 60% of his passes. So that's a big factor. But the real factor with Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold needs to show that he can avoid turning the ball over. That's simple right there. He's got to avoid turning it over. Sam Darnold's played in 56 career NFL games. He has 90 turnovers in those 56 games. I did not misspeak that. That is not a stat that I gave out erroneously. 56 career NFL games for Sam Darnold, 90 career turnovers. 55 of them are interceptions, 35 of them are fumbles. That's a ton of turnovers. You can't have 90 turnovers in 56 NFL games. And if he can't avoid turnovers, the 49ers just can't win games consistently. If you look at the Niners this year in games that they won, they had a very favorable turnover margin. In games that they lost, their turnover margin was negative. If he turns it over as much with the Niners as he turned it over with the Jets and with the Panthers, the 49ers will not be able to win games, and Sam Darnold will not be able to be the 49ers starting quarterback. So ultimately, that's what he's got to show in the preseason. He's got to show that he can lead the team in, up and down the field, produce points, and avoid turnovers. He's known for turnovers going back to USC. If he can't avoid turnovers, he can't be the 49ers' number 1 quarterback, regardless of how well he throws the football. You can throw the greatest spiral of all time. If you're turning it over 90 times in 56 NFL games, your team's losing. And guess what? Sam Darnold has been in the league, and his team has lost a lot. And he's had a lot to do with it. Now, he's not the sole reason, but 90 turnovers in 56 career NFL games is not nearly good enough. And if he can't avoid turning it over in mass, the 49ers can't win games. And if they can't win games, Sam Darnold can't be the starting quarterback. So that's Sam's key. He's got to avoid the turnovers. All right, let's move on to Trey Lance. Trey Lance has been throwing the ball exceptionally well. He had a pass today against Ray McCloud that was absolutely phenomenal. Just a rocket. And it was just one of the, very few quarterbacks in the NFL can throw the ball like the way Trey Lance threw the ball today in practice. But he has to be able to throw. He's got a great power arm. If he's throwing the go ball, looks great. Deep post, looks great. 22-yard in or out, the cut patterns, he looks great. When Trey has to throw with touch or timing, when he's got to make those layup throws, this is the pass that he has a hard time being consistent with. We saw it the other day in practice. He had Deebo Samuel, a little 5-yard pass on the right side. He rolled right. He's got him right there. There's not even a defender between Deebo and Lance. Airmailed it by quite a bit. Deebo didn't get a finger on it. Trey Lance has to show that he can consistently throw with touch and with timing and make all of the layups, the easy to complete short passes. He's got to be efficient in the quick game. Passes that NFL quarterbacks absolutely need to complete on a regular basis to keep drives alive. That's his challenge. He's got a big arm. He can process what he sees at the line of scrimmage. He's a smart kid with a great arm. But if he can't throw a touch, if he can't throw a timing, if he can't hit the layups, if he can't operate the quick game, if you can't do that, the Niners are going to struggle to sustain offensive drives. And if they struggle to sustain offensive drives, that means they're going to punt more times than not. And if they're punting, that means they're not going to score enough points to win games, especially against good teams. So what's Trey's challenge? He's got to be able to throw the touch pass, the timing pass. He's got to be on time. He's got to be accurate. He's got to hit the layups. He's got to hit the easy stuff. He's got to complete the short passes. He's got to be efficient in the quick game. If he does that, he can be the starting quarterback. The Niners can then keep drives going. He can sustain those drives. Niners offense can stay on the field, and they can score points. And if they score points and they win games, Trey can be the starting quarterback. If he can't throw with touch and timing and make the layups and complete the easy stuff, he can't be the starter. All right, let's move on to Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy had a great year last year. Then he had elbow surgery. And he came out the first day of practice, and he threw a couple incredible power deep throws down the field, one to Deebo Samuel. He had a rocket of a throw down the field to Brandon Ayuk, and he looked like a guy who had not lost any arm strength at all or ball speed. And if Brock has the same arm strength and ball speed that he had a year ago, he's probably the starter. But he has to show that he hasn't lost arm strength, that he hasn't lost ball speed. He's got to demonstrate that he can make all the throws required of an NFL quarterback. He had a pass today that was picked off by Dre Greenlaw that just hung in the air, floated in the middle of the air, way too much of a lollipop. You can't make that throw in the NFL. He had a deep ball down the sideline that hung up, underthrew the receiver. The DB made a play on the ball. Day one, he looked like he hadn't lost any arm strength. He definitely looked like he hadn't lost any ball speed. I asked John Lynch about it and Kyle Shanahan. They said when you put the GPS monitors on him, it indicates that he hasn't lost anything. Hopefully that's the case. If he can demonstrate that he has not lost arm strength and he has not lost ball speed, then he can make all the throws. And if he can make all the throws, he's your week one starter at Heinz Field. But if he can't, defenses will not feel the need to cover the entire field. They'll cheat up. They'll dare him to throw it over their head into the deep third of the field. And it's likely, if he can't throw with the same ball speed, that it will lead to interceptions. Defenders will have more time to break on his ball. If he can't make them honor the deep ball and he can't fit it in the tight windows on the outside the numbers, especially, defenders will break on his ball. They'll defend him inside of a 12 to 15-yard box. They'll dare him to go up top. And if that ball hangs consistently, that's going to be really difficult for the 49ers. And most likely Brock can't be the starting quarterback if indeed he's lost arm strength, if he's lost ball speed, if defenses don't have to cover the deep third, if they don't have to defend outside the numbers. Suddenly he becomes very much like Jimmy Garoppolo. So That's what these guys need to do. 3 quarterbacks, 3 different paths to the starting job. Once again, Darnold avoids turnovers. He's got a shot to start. Trey shows he can throw with touch and timing and complete all the short game and quick game. He's got a chance to start. Brock shows that he hasn't lost arm strength or ball speed, and he can make all the throws in the deep third of the field and outside the numbers. He will start in Heinz Field, and he'll get the first go at it at the beginning of the year. But that's where we're at with all 3 quarterbacks. And the rest of camp, we're going to get a chance to see these 3 quarterbacks compete and try to show that they can overcome these hurdles. And if all 3 of them do, then Kyle Shanahan's got a really tough decision on his hands. If none of these 3 guys can overcome those hurdles, the 49ers are going to be looking for another quarterback in 2024. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to Pig in a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to all you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.